get
Oh no, it's not supposed to do that. Oh my god. No, it's supposed to fade out instead of repeat. I hit the wrong button. I'll get the hang of this one of these days, folks. Hello, welcome to Raven's Rabbit Hole. How is everybody this evening? Hello, everyone there in chat. We had to get a little bit of a late start. I had to reboot my system, and then I couldn't get this goofy background that appeared from, oh my gosh, I played around with some AI months ago and did a background, and it was really kind of cool, and it said Raven's Rabbit Hole kind of in a loop, but the computer can't spell the word rabbit, so it left off the R, so it was Abbott. No, it's Avon instead of Raven's Rabbit Hole, which was kind of funny. So yes, so we've got all the technical glitches out of the way, I hope.
I'm not worried at all about AI.
Everybody, how are you? Let me get over here.
Doing good.
I'm going to put the chat room up here where we can read it. All right. We have Rachel, and there's Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Renee. And there's DJ Gorduff. All right. Nathan's here. Hi, Nathan. How are you? And there's Renee, and Storm is here. Thank you, Storm, for helping me out with my little glitch problem here. And there's Patty. Hi, Patty. Happy Christmas Eve to you, too. And there's Justin. Hi, Justin. So glad you could make it. And did I miss anybody?
Pam Snow.
Oh, there's Pamela. Yes. Yeah. Hi, Pam. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Cindy.
Good to see you. Happy Christmas to everybody. Cool. So, Lynn and I are going to talk about some of the history of these things that are Christmas. And actually, there's absolutely nothing about Christmas that's Christian. It's all pagan.
Almost all. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, our ancestors, the winter solstice was such an important time for, I mean, literally thousands of years. The winter solstice was the time when the sun is reborn. And it's kind of a scary time. And so, like in the ancient mind, when they see the sun going closer and closer to the horizon, and then for 3 days, it doesn't move. From the 21st to the 25th, it doesn't start to, it moves 1 degree on the 25th. It starts to come back up again, but it's the rebirth of the sun. And in the dead of winter, I mean, your survival depended on how well of a harvest you had. You know, if you had animals to slaughter, if the slaughter went well, you know, if their meat, you know, preserved well. I mean, this was the time, you know, where you could starve to death, and death was always knocking at their door. They didn't have, of course, our modern conveniences. So, everything about this winter solstice, the pine, everything from the pine smells to the cinnamon to, you know, the whole bit about the tree, Santa, the whole bit. And so we thought we'd break that down. And this this festive time has been used and weaponized against us. And so we're going to talk about that and point out some of those things and what you can do to avert that. And it doesn't mean you have to, you know, divorce yourself from your extended family or anything like that, unless you really feel that would be beneficial to you, you know. But we're not saying that. And this can work well with your, if you've got Christian friends and family. It doesn't mean that you have to. I have a cat that just will not stop. Get down, please. It doesn't mean that you have to, you know, not celebrate with them. It's all a time of celebration and celebrating the light, and we're all made of that light. So there's a common denominator through the whole thing, right? Tomato, right?
Very true.
Do you ever notice, like around, like mid-November, there's literally something in the air. It feels different. Do any of you experience that? There's Cindy. Hi, welcome to the show, Cindy. It's different. There's like there's an anticipation almost. a palatable anxiety. How do you experience it, Lynn?
Uh, Actually, I experienced it slightly earlier around Samhain. That'd be Halloween for anyone else. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
palpable thing, a hand thing. You can feel it in the air. And what you're feeling is to change the season. Human beings are very much like our animal friends in that we can feel when things are about to change. When the Indians were and the indigenous peoples were getting ready to set up their next camp, they would feel it around the end of August. And the old man of the camp, the shaman, if you will, would get up, start packing up, and he'd start moving. And everybody else would say to each other, time to go. And they'd pack up too, because everybody
Mm-hmm.
could feel it. Now
Right.
we don't have quite that I want to say hive mentality, but it's more than that.
Yeah, it's much more than that. And
Lots more. You know, we get that odd chill in the air at night
yeah,
that tells us the crisp, clean smell of air.
yeah.
That's how I tell. And I get to another way I tell is when somebody's feeling cold enough to light up the fireplace and get it going.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell that.
Oh yeah, I
That
love to.
means old bones are creaking and it's starting to smart, you
Right.
know?
I would dare say because this is so old that there is some kind of a marker in the DNA,
Yes, I would say so.
and it's because it's a collective thing. And now in more modern times, add to that anticipation and so forth. There's a nostalgia to it, but there's also this generosity and an undercurrent of loneliness and sometimes even guilt added to that.
Mm,
And we just kind of write it off and say, this is just the Holy Spirit, right? Or it's not Holy Spirit. I mean, holiday spirit.
that's an interesting one. That's a Freudian slip.
That's a Freudian slip, isn't it?
Yeah, it's showing. It's okay. I think the thing is that after the 31st of October, which is the end of the pagan year, okay, and we start fresh and clean in Yule. This is the time when you rethink your thoughts, consider what's going on, what you're going to do next year, how are you going to prosper, and so on. Is that holiday for us? But then you move into uh, November, which is the final slaughter, of course. And you get everything ready to put in your barn and get ready to go. Get ready to have a good holiday or a truly bad one. And a bad one could end up with your entire tribe getting wiped out. That's not
Mm-hmm.
not a ridiculous thought. And in the old days, of course, there were medicines. Shucks, my ex's father was a shaman, and he was familiar with medicines, how to take care of legs, how to take care of arms if they were broken, fever, the whole bit. Now they got their ideas handed to them when the arrival of smallpox, measles, mumps, rubella, that sort of thing came over on the Mayflower
Mm-hmm.
and just kept coming. And of course, these medicines didn't help a great deal. They might give some solace, some comfort, but not much. Um, then, you're looking at, we'll move ahead pretty quick here so we can get into you because what these folks are here for. But we'll talk about from there. You move into December. December's your first snow. Um, you are making your housing nice and tight and warm. and you've got maybe a few things that you don't need to sit on for your Yule holiday. Now, depending on the tradition that you're involved in, that is to say, sect of religion that you're involved in, you know, as in Wicca, as opposed to, oh, we'll say Odinism, or we'll say Methodist as opposed to Catholic. Okay, now, and surprisingly, they're not all that different.
True.
Uh, a lot of the local lore, the local religion, the local ideas were simulated because they had to be to get the people to embrace Christianity. Remember,
Right.
when all that was going on, these other religions were very, very ensconced in their uh, group group thought patterns.
Right.
So then we consider that then that if someone comes into a village and says, "Hi, I'm a Christian," and they look at you and say, "What's that?" or basically kill you, one of the two.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's true.
oh, that's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
I know. I
You
know.
know, the gals weren't excited about somebody coming in and saying, "Hi, you're going to accept our gods or else."
Right.
And you know, there had to be a certain amount of diplomacy, if not outright conquering, that had to be done in order to get the people to accept not just, oh, we'll say religion on a Christian idea, but other ideas as well.
And this whole Yule thing, Romans had Saturnalia, which started December
That
17th
was
and
one
ran
of
June
them.
25th. The people flat out refused to stop having a good time. It was their big party of the year.
It
I mean,
was.
the drinking, the debauchery, the nudity, the lewd sex in the streets, and everything was all the social norms were reverted backwards. Like, so the master of the house became the servant, and the servant got to be the master for the day.
Yeah, and he better be awful careful while he's doing it, too.
I don't think he got to sleep with the missus. I don't think, but anyway, they
He
just,
better keep his humor
yeah,
careful. That's all. Because the master was going to be master again the next day.
yeah, exactly.
So,
And
we're
there's the gift giving, the whole everything about the gift giving and the lighting of the candles, the pine, the cinnamon, the
yeah.
colors of red and green, all of that.
From a European
Well,
standpoint, uh, you can go back for most of it all the way back to Rome, and then you can also go back to the Gauls. Those that were Celtic in origin. You can also go back to the Nordic tribes and traditions.
mhm.
So I mean, there was a number of them. It wasn't like there was just one, and all of those had little side ideas, if you will, not just the party, but there had to be certain things in your wassail and that sort of thing. Wassail, of course, is a drink.
Mhm. Before
So,
eggnog. Yeah, I tried it a long
uh,
time ago. I can't even remember now what it tastes like or what it's made.
wassail
Yeah, isn't it like a
was
warm
kind of a grog.
apple
They
cider?
would add a grog. They
Okay.
would add to wine, and it was usually red wine. They would add different spices and a little bit
Okay.
of mincemeat and things like that. Of course, in this day and age, you certainly wouldn't add the mincemeat
Mm-hmm.
or use mincemeat in its original form.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah,
um, what's kind of happened is that um, when we were kids, these traditions that we've grown up with um, impressed upon us before we had the full frontal cortex developed. So it's all in our limbic system. And when, as adults, we hear that music when we walk in the mall, or we smell that cinnamon, or we see those colors, and every year it overrides That's why you spend money that you didn't intend to spend. That's why you do the things you do. There's that little child in you, because it goes right to the subconscious mind, and that little child in you wants to recreate those that feeling, that innocence, and that
Mhm.
wonder, and the magic, of the season. And so that is why you subconsciously, and the retail, they know this. They manipulate us through all of this sort of stuff,
Oh, yeah.
every bit of it. And so it's like it sets these little triggers, is what they described it as. And so these are just, and it because your whole biological system, there's a whole science behind all this stuff. It's not just that you don't have any self control. It is a it's your subconscious mind, which makes 90 some percent of all your decisions for you anyway. And so once they've got the human brain mapped out and manipulated, and they know what can happen, and by triggering something in the subconscious, they've got you're programmed. So until you become aware of this, you're destined to repeat it. And that's what they have created, is this redundant program every year that they do this.
Honest, that sort of thing goes on all year round. Mm.
Yeah, all the Hallmark names, but especially
Oh,
this,
yeah. The
and what they
Hallmark movies, everything lands
this is
perfectly good. And
this is their harvest. All of the human consciousness coming in together in a resonant pattern, in rhythm, and all that energy, because all these minds are all focused, singing the same
yeah,
songs, talking about Santa Claus, wrapping gifts, all of that. They harvest that, and it's designed so that by the 26th, you are exhausted, you're tired, and you're broke. Which
guess
then
what? I'm not.
well, and so you become aware, and so
I'm
you
aware. I'm
remember that.
aware of how it all works.
Yeah.
And
And then think about January.
um,
What do you think about in January? You're like, you feel upset that you spent too much money, so you might hire a financial planner, or you might buy a self-help book, right?
or you'll go insane and go on a diet,
You buy
which is
the
also
membership to the gym.
programmed, folks.
Yeah.
Now let's don't be ruining Christmas for Storm.
Okay.
No, or Dorothy. Hi, Dorothy. You just walked in.
Hi,
If
Dorothy.
that is Dorothy.
Welcome to the
Hi, hi.
show.
The
Yeah.
thing is that they've learned these things. Unfortunately, they haven't learned the lessons that these symbols and celebrations embody. They don't. They don't embrace them at all. And I when I figured it all out, which was probably a little bit before you, but probably about the same time. Because a lot of us had awakening that we were being used and abused. But if you look at the Christmas tree, what does that mean to you personally inside? And you look at that and you think about it, and you realize that in the old days they would put uh, little packets of seeds on the tree to attract the birds because they knew the birds needed a little help. There would be water nearby. So if
Mhm.
the Christmas tree caught fire from the candles you put on it, you could put it out pretty
Literally
quick.
had candles on it, like.
They really did have candles, and I've seen Christmas trees that had candles. So
Oh,
it's my
I bet they
my
did not have a
oma
cat,
and
at least for
or
long.
yeah, my oma and my opa uh, lit their tree on fire, and I was like, wow, that's stupid. Because their kids couldn't get them not to do that for a long time, and then of course they couldn't find the. And if you're hoping that I'll read this stuff, give it up. I can't see it well enough to read it. But Raven will read questions to me. That the that tree embodied a lot of different symbolism. The birds that chose to stay throughout the year were comrades, not something to eat, nothing like that. They were part of the whole circle of life. So
Yeah.
they were welcome on that tree. They were welcome to eat the bits of meat, because crows and ravens love that. And the songbirds that still stay enjoy the seeds. So they have different things.
Hmm. I love.
It's true, Dorothy. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
The the placing of bulbs and other ornaments on the tree came later. You know, the old days they would put popcorn around the tree to feed the
Yeah.
birds.
And
They would,
cranberries and
yes,
rowan berries, whatever was
yeah,
around. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the wholesome. That's what I always wanted to try to recreate. And so we would always get.
It takes time and it takes planning.
Oh, it does. We
It
would get,
really does.
and I.
That star on the top, though, that thing is very much a spiritual meaning in the Christian sense, and it signifies the Star of David. But you'll also have to realize that the Christ star, that is, it also is an honest star from paganism. And an honest star is the morning star in the east.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So when you look
And
at
the
these
Star of
different
Bethlehem.
correlate, yes, that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
That these things all correlate uh, neatly, very neatly. And I mean, right up to the Christ family itself, it will relate.
Yeah.
So, when I don't see that there's a need for a quarrel over it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a pagan for 50 years. And for any of that, what makes me the expert on this? I've been studying it for about 50 years. So, I know something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all looking at things that are symbolism at this point. Poinsettias have several different meanings
Mm-hmm.
and are more in the fertility segment. So we'll kind of leave that out for today, just so Raven can continue her show unmolested. You know,
If you have,
mistletoe too. Yeah. And of
yeah.
course, mistletoe is, you kiss under the mistletoe, and this is supposed to ensure fertility and that you'll have children in the next year.
Yeah.
Now, if you'll go back and look at the Wheel of the Year, in at Beltane, most couples got married within that month and in June. There were 2 months there. The reason it was done that way was so the children would be born safely and warm. After all of the chores, after all the feeding of livestock, gathering of farm stuff. But when you look at all that, they were protecting their women from a bad labor.
Oh my
So
gosh, I
that
did
they
not know
could,
that. Wow. That's very
they
interesting.
knew that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it all, it's showing, okay, we're talking about 7 months into the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most babies would be born around the end of February, middle to the middle end of March.
Springtime,
Okay,
perfect timing. That's
springtime,
when nature has.
starting to get warm.
Yeah.
You can keep your kid, you keep your baby nice and safe. You can rest. There isn't a whole lot of preparing going on at that time. They already have their plans up. They know what they're going to do and what they're going after first.
Mm-hmm.
What field they're going to plow and furrow so they can get their plants down. So, the February, March area is where their babies were born. The
Mm-hmm.
lambing was done. the calves were born. We're talking about a love fest here, guys. You know,
Yeah.
so
And that's when they say Jesus' real birthday was
was in
spring,
spring.
because of the passages in the Bible talking about the shepherds and the lambs,
Yes,
and they had them out to pasture. Well, they're not going to have them out to pasture in
not
December.
in December.
No. So, and there was
Not
a,
in December. It would have been February, March, maybe
there's a,
even April. The reason I think Christ was born in April is because his symbol is a ram,
it's Aries. Yeah.
the Aries.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you look at, and that of course was borrowed from Aries, the warrior.
Well,
Now, isn't that interesting?
yeah, it is
That
interesting.
Christ wasn't just a meek prophet, but he was also a warrior coming in and saying, "Hey, look, guys, this ain't gonna get it," you know, and
Yeah.
changing things around.
I'm thinking maybe it was even like on the actual equinox or somewhere around there, which would have been March 21st.
I would say that's probably a pretty decent guess.
That's what I
You know,
always think of it in anyway. Like the whole, oh well, anyway, this is just backward. The way we do Easter and all that stuff and Ostara
well,
and
you can go that direction if you like.
um
Easter is Ostera. It's also the beginning of spring and the return of spring and the sunlight and the warmth. So
yeah,
they were very much looking forward to that time.
yeah,
Extremely.
yeah. If you, I was doing a back count of 9 months from my birthday. And like, oh, I was conceived in March because I'm
Well,
born.
that's not to say that you couldn't have a baby any other time, but they were real observant of timing simply because they wanted their child born healthy and well and whole.
Right.
And in order to do that, you kind of had to keep a big eye on those seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want your infant born during the coldest month of the year
No, definitely
because,
not.
well, when you figure that the infant mortality rate in the, we'll say in the early antiquity, in the early times of Christ's birth, as well as clear up until about 100 years ago, infant mortality was much, much higher than we are experiencing today. Somewhere around 50 to 60%. That's a lot. That's a lot of babies to lose.
Yeah, that
So and
is.
there was treasure there. They were considered. They were the hope for the future. You know, the parent was also arranging his retirement at that time, whether he knew it or not. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of there's a lot of that.
yeah,
So and uh, at that time, a lot of things happened that you would meet your betrothed if your family had arranged your marriage in at Yule, and it would give you lots of
God, they outlawed that. Oh my God, I shudder to think where
well
I
they
would be right
they
now. Oh my
they
God.
did it they did it for good reasons. You know that the young ladies, the young gentlemen would fall in love and or make an arrangement. A lot of them did that. Most of them did that, especially if you're aristocracy.
Yeah, I feel sorry for that. You looked at them like with envy that they had, a silver spoon in their mouth, and
No,
they didn't have to work hard. But they were often married to old men the age of their dad.
that's
So
right.
you know
Yeah, as young
how
as
freaking
as
horrible
young
is
as 6 years old, they would be
that?
betrothed. They weren't
That's
expected to have any relations until way into their teens. That their arrangements for their marriage would be made. And their feelings about it did not matter one bit.
hmm I know.
So, you
Just
know, you're looking at that was then, that was the culture of the day. So then we're looking at things that we can can look at, and we can say, oh, we would never do that. Oh, you damn right we would have. At that time, we'd done exactly as we were told.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, that's was the culture of the day, and if you didn't obey your parent, you belonged to your parent.
Yeah.
And as in chattel, they had rule over your life or your death. And so the old saying, if I brought you into this world, I'll take
I'll
you
take you
out.
out.
You
Yeah.
know, all in merriment and all in seriousness. You know, but getting back to Christmas and Yule, we make a fruit cake, don't we?
Oh, fruitcake. Oh
Not
God.
not
Yes. I have
necessarily not necessarily for use on the in the hockey ring,
it.
but we get you doing that stuff, and then we started thinking, what's with the fruitcake?
Yeah.
Fruitcake did not resemble what we have today, not really.
Okay.
Yes, it was a cake. It was basically a butter cake. It had dried fruit in it. Now that can be dried cranberries, dried cherries, dried apricots, peaches, whatever you could lay your hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And you made that thing at Yule, and you fed it for the rest of the next year. And at Yule, your previously made fruit cake, and when you fed it rum. You just poured a cup of rum in it every month. Every month.
Okay, now I see why people eat fruitcake. This is
What's that, Storm? He goes, every month. So
okay. So
they
literally,
did that. Yes,
this
literally, it
just
was an alcoholic cake. It was, I
gotcha.
have made them. They are amazing. I don't like fruit cake. I hate fruit cake. Fruit cake made the right way. Oh boy.
Well, I need to try a proper fruitcake then before I pass final
Yeah, good
judgment on
luck. Good luck finding anyone who makes them. They are expensive because, well, you're feeding that damn thing a couple of bottles of rum over the course of the year,
it.
you know. And
Rum
then
on
you
the
got to
wall.
chase them off. You know, chase off the family from it.
Maybe I should go
You
into
know,
that
most
could be a
people
nice little
don't.
side business for me.
Yeah,
Fruitcakes, creating fruitcakes.
real fruit cake. You'll have to look in a pagan cookbook probably.
I can do this. You know,
Oh yeah, you could do
I
it.
can
I
do this.
can do it.
I can do this.
I
This is
have done
fun.
it. Grog, that was a biggie for Christmas. We'll talk about food here because everybody can relate.
Yeah.
Wassail was real similar to grog. Grog is made, of course, with dark wine, you know, rich wine, like a dessert wine.
Mm-hmm.
You put raisins and nuts, uh, cherries, real fruity stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You put that in a pan and you make it over the stove. You add some sugar. You put some, maybe a little vanilla just because nothing's good without vanilla.
Mm.
And you put that together and you boil it down to about maybe a quarter, from to about 3/4 from the original recipe. You bring that thing down and reduce it, and you drink it. And you have a chair nearby because it's gonna land you on your fanny. Oh, let's see, what does Pam Snow know? Bought store bought fruitcake smells fruit funky and not in a good way. I agree with you. That's why I won't eat them. Uh, Spiked eggnog, that's easy enough to make. You know, and your grandma's cookbook will have it. In fact, internet will have it. You know, and of course, No good eggnog's made without Southern comfort.
I don't think I've really had good eggnog.
Yeah, it's a very heavy cake. It is super dense, and the reason it's awful is because it doesn't have any liquor in it.
Hmm.
Uh, well, that's my opinion. So we'll going on with it. Yeah, that's really what they did too. They planned for the feast of the year with Yule, and it was a good feast. It would be roasted meats, big hunks of meat on every plate. There'd be side dishes,
Yeah.
of whatever they could gather. Whether it was uh, like a cream of wheat or things like that. Now it sounds, oh my God, gruel at dinner. Yeah, they would. Oatmeal too. All the cookie making was evolved from these festivities, and I won't attribute it just to pagans because there were pagans that turned Christian. So they had these old recipes. They were wanting to party too. You know.
Hmm.
Now you go a little bit forward into our history. Christmas was not done by the Puritans at all. They considered it a not a good holiday. They didn't believe in the merrymaking that was going on. They felt that
Oh,
that
I know. They
was
were such
was
stick in
not
the mud.
nice. And
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
never had any
they were.
fun. They hardly ever smiled. They hardly ever
Well,
laughed.
can you imagine? Why not? You
I
know,
mean, gosh, talking about
all kidding aside,
party
though,
poopers.
you know that was part of their. Yeah, I believe it.
That's
He's
funny
saying I
for 'em.
fell in love with fruitcake when I was a youth from sea rations, believe it or
See,
not. I do believe it. His first question whenever we come into MRIs is where's fruitcake?
I've
So,
been called fruitcake most of my life, and so I kind of relate to fruitcake in that way. But my grandmother always had it at Christmas, and it was always so gelatinous looking and discolored. It was kind of a greenish brown overall color, and it just
yeah.
did not uh, look appealing.
It's icky. It's so icky. Oh
Yeah,
my God, it's nasty.
yeah.
All teasing. All kidding now. We'd say some of this stuff doesn't sound good to us. Well, you're not raised on it for one thing, and it's an acquired taste for another.
Hmm. But
So,
if it's got rum, then it's marinating in
yeah,
for 12
I
months. Now,
I will overlook a lot for yes.
that
So
piques my curiosity now.
yeah,
You might have to try
those
that
sea
again.
rations, many of them are 40 to 50 years old. And now consider this. This is a dish best eaten old. Okay. Particularly if it's got rum in it, because that's going to be your preservative. That's what did it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you know,
That's funny.
I personally do not care for fruit cake. I've had it. When it is done right, I like it. But as you say, that's become a lost art.
Hmm.
Heck, you probably could do that and make some money. The last fruit cake I had was before John was born. That's been 40 years ago. And the lady at the time charged $20 for the cake and $20 for the bottle of rum it took. The cake was about the size of the average dinner plate. So, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been that long ago, I don't feel, that people still made these things, but we've come into a time when both parents are working.
Yeah.
Grandma's probably working too.
Yeah. And
And
in the Jello mold. That's how. Yeah. That's how my. Yeah. It had the
mhm.
little ridges and everything like that. And then
Oh yeah.
Dorothy's asking, I know what you're talking about, Dorothy, and I can't remember what it's called. The lime green Jello, Lynn, that has the celery and olives in it.
Oh, this is Jello fruit salad.
That's fruit salad. Okay.
Yeah,
Fruit salad.
that's old.
Fruit for the fruity. Fruit
Oh,
salad.
I'm going to tell you what,
Fruit
the
cake.
60s were the age of Jello is,
Fruit juice.
oh my God. What's his name? His name's Dylan something. Do you remember, Frank? Dylan? The fellow that makes all the Jello recipes.
Man, that's funny. Like, what's the stuff in your
Oh
fridge?
my God. I have been back and forth. I followed this guy on YouTube here for a very long time. And he's hilarious, but he makes Jello molds.
Wow.
I'm telling you what, I don't want Jello.
I can't say I've ever met someone who's Jello.
Yeah, well, I
Interesting.
had to eat. I had nothing to eat for about 4 6 months. But green Jello,
Oh
green
God.
green Jello.
Oh Lord.
6 months of that.
That's torture. They gotta.
Honest, it's probably all I could eat. Be honest with you.
Wow.
And
Oh my God.
at the end of all that, I decided I took every package of green Jello in my pantry, took it out to the back 40, I mean the really back 40, and shot it up. Boom, boom, boom. The big boomstick.
Oh God.
And got rid of it because I couldn't ever face another bowl of green jello again in my life, I'm sure. So that
Oh my
stuff's
God.
nasty. But
Yeah.
yeah, in the 1950s, those fruit salads, and they were different colors too. They weren't. You would see more of the fruit salad than the vegetable salad in other colors, But the green one was sort of so you'd eat your veggies. There was carrots in it, celery. Nothing pungent though. No onions or anything like that. Um, I've had beets in it. Uh, Coconut, of course. Nothing's truly a Jello salad without coconut.
Oh, I can't stand.
And so we're talking about that, and we can come back to some of the symbolism in the uh, Christmas stuff. The Star of David has pretty much been figured out to be the comet, Halley's comet,
Yeah.
and there were three wise men, and depending on the Bible that you're reading, that is interpreted as magi or magi. They were interpreted as wise men. Three kings, okay? We have songs about three kings. Those guys were Persian,
Mm-hmm.
what we would now realize as Iraqi.
Mm-hmm.
And they followed Halley's Comet because they knew, because they were expert astronomers and expert astrologers. They knew that a king of kings was about to be born.
Yes.
Now, the word king of kings comes from the Egyptian because that was one of their monikers. But they followed that to find uh, Jesus and assumed, which so we all know makes an ass out of you and me,
Yes.
you know, they assumed that this child would be born in a palace. And of course, Herod knew nothing of it. Herod was the reigning king at that time. And they went, found the proper king, gave him their gifts. And I'm going to go sideways a bit. The gifts were gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The gold, these people knew they were going to have to flee. They were going to have to get out of Dodge and fast.
Yeah.
The myrrh, sir, did you ask me a question? I guess not. Anyway,
That was used in embalming, wasn't it?
yes, it represented his death. And frankincense was healing. Frankincense is known today as boswellia,
Oh, I didn't
and
know.
it's used in healing and in pain control.
And in exorcism.
It can be, it's part of the healing properties of it.
I've had conversations with those in the esoteric community saying that frankincense is actually better than a smudge stick. If you've got
Yes.
paranormal activity going on in your house,
Uh-huh.
bypass the sage and just go straight for the frankincense.
Yeah, you have to charge it, of course, but nothing works really properly without intention.
Well, yeah.
But they brought those three gifts.
It's
and
kind of morbid that they brought him the myrrh, don't you think? Isn't that
they
kind of
knew
morbid?
they knew he would be the savior. That's how they saw it too.
And that's just odd
Pagans
gift to give an
knew as well.
infant, frankincense, myrrh, the gold. The parents can use the gold.
Oh,
But,
they can use the frankincense and myrrh too. These are costly spices.
Yeah.
They're When I say costly, I mean a fortune in and of each
Kings could
one.
afford.
Yes.
The common man could not afford any of that.
No, he wouldn't have been able to. And this assisted the family in getting to Egypt and away from Herod, who, of course, murdered all of the firstborn children of Israel.
I
Yet
know.
again.
That is so. Do you know they found a pit not too long ago where all these children's bones were in it, and they think those were some of the burial pits from Herod's day. How horrific! I mean, man, the ancient world was brutal. I mean, just oh my god!
Our world is brutal.
Our world is brutal in a different way. I mean, we're not as like bloodlust as it's done more. Most of it is done, I would say, more secretively. But
I don't know. I think certain spots in the world are.
I mean, we don't have like the Colosseum. We don't throw people to the lions anymore and the tigers and stuff. But
well, not in a mass way, anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm sure some of the drug cartels do in small arenas, but
I wouldn't want to propose and those guys for anything. I don't know. They have their own ways.
There's just some people that are like animals. They have no value to human life whatsoever, and they just absolutely do not feel. They do not care. They're just.
That has not changed since the world began.
Yeah, I don't know. It hasn't.
It has, and getting worked up about it isn't going to help.
Well, yeah, that's true.
The best thing we can do is get in our lane, stay in it, do right, and continue to be the person that we were charged to be before we came here.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, and.
I like how
I agree with you, Dot. I really do. They might like it pretty well, but anything that changes the status quo is usually ends up in war, especially in the old days.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, whether anybody took a vote on it, they weren't acquainted with democracy at all or anything like it. It's what the leaders said is how it was going to go. Now we gather to watch football. Tell me where we're different, except we don't deliberately kill anybody.
Right.
Am I allowed to say that word? We don't deliberately unalive anybody. I
Unalive.
got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Why is everybody saying unalive instead of the word? Is that one of the bad
You,
words that you
it's
get
you.
flagged for?
It's YouTube's terms and services. It
Really?
is, and
I need.
it's a good thing because it keeps people realizing that you know there is somebody in charge here. So whether they see it all or not, I couldn't tell you that, but it's their house. Will behave, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Well.
that's how they want it. That's how they will have it if we're going to use their forum. But the uh, with Christmas, in the early part of Christianity, really wasn't celebrated particularly. It came more as they tried to simulate festivals like Saturnalia. I want to say Luper. I can never get that word out.
Oh,
Lupercalia.
Lupercalia. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And they did that mostly because, well, it's a riot, literally.
Yeah.
And in order to keep the corner store open, perhaps we should rein this in a bit. And of course, people did rebel against that and didn't like it. But here we are.
Yeah.
You know, these the festivals of the Celts and the Norse and Striga and some of those
Hmm.
all all adhered to these festivals one way or another. The only way to get everybody on board together was to assimilate those festivals.
Right. They just
And
put a fresh blanket over it, and they just assimilated it.
yeah,
All of it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there are, in the archives, they've
I
they've admitted that they had to do that because
yeah,
they had to. And there are saints that were never ever Christians.
that's right. Uh,
Bridget.
Bridget is one of them. Bridget is a Celtic goddess, and oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Saint Gertrude, who was patron saint of cats.
Yes, yes, she was absolutely.
You should have an icon of her in there.
I
You
should.
know,
I've never seen one, and I just heard about her just a couple of years ago. And it's funny because my growing up, my best friend's grandmother's name was
they
Gertrude.
did Dot, and they did assimilate it. There was a two-way street going on at that time, if you know your history. The Norse were pretty well decided that they were going to rape, pillage, and destroy everything concerning the United Kingdom, which is United Kingdom now, and of course that was the old island then. And as Christianity grew in numbers and in strength, yes, they assimilated them. That was the word. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, but they
But
went farm
that's the
there
history.
in Wessex, and the king
They did a lot of other horrible
asked
stuff
for
too.
one of them to convert, and then they could strike a deal as long as one of his chief officers would convert to Christianity. Then they could work this land deal,
Yeah,
which they did.
right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, the Northmen, as they were called, really had devolved down into basically a band of brothers that went and took anything they could get their hands on. No, it was a matter of trade. The slave trade at that time were extremely uh, uh, busy, and that was any kind of slave you needed. You know, and was any of it nice? Was any of it good? No, it wasn't good. You don't see us doing it now. We've managed to get ourselves somewhat in control, although we still have a good bit of those problems.
I just read an article this last week about how the people of Iceland were doing their DNA, and
Uh-huh.
almost all of the mitochondrial, the mother's side of the DNA, is Scotch Irish.
Uh-huh. They like that area a lot.
They were taken, no, they were taken as slaves
Yeah.
uh, to Iceland from
Yes.
the raid that they did, and then yeah, gave birth to a nation.
So
Not,
it
not
it
willingly either.
it got ugly, folks, okay? It was ugly. We're not saying it was good. We're saying it was ugly.
You
You
know,
know.
underneath Dublin, there's like waterways,
Mhm.
and the old Viking routes are still in. You can still take a boat down
Right.
underneath there today. So,
Right. Well, now getting back to the bells, you know, do you remember in It's a Wonderful Life how every time a bell rings, an angel
still
gets their
gets his
wings?
wings. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a made up thing, okay? That's not one of
Right.
those. But bells did were considered messages to God of love, worship, and adoration. So they have their place.
Didn't they admit
Uh,
a healing frequency?
they have very much a healing frequency. What is it, 4, 5, 2? I know I'm not right, but the healing frequency of sound is found very much in the bells, the songs that are sung, the key that they are done in produce these hertz.
Yeah,
Where things are perceived by the brain in a soothing or calming
right.
way.
The Gregorian chants and the
Yes.
solfeggio tones, and they knew back when they built these monstrous cathedrals, they knew something about cymatics, and they have taken these where you can take a metal plate and put some sand on it, and you hook it up to a electromagnetic little clip thingy, and you run
Uh-huh.
a frequency through it, and the sand will move around and then form a beautiful piece of sacred geometry, and you crank it
Mhm.
up a little bit higher and it'll get a more complex form, and then a more
That's
complex and
right.
more complex, and the big circle stained glass window, like in the very front of the church, that pattern will be it will correlate to a note and to a specific hertz. And they used to know by just looking at the outside of the church, okay, I've got heart problems. Okay, this is the cathedral I want to go to then, because that's going to help heal my heart or my
Yeah.
liver or my diabetes, all
And
that
the
stuff.
average person wouldn't have all this information. They really wouldn't.
I think they did
Uh,
in Tartaria, and I do
the
believe that this Tartaria thing is real. I've done some work on that. In fact, Patty's going to be joining me here on the show in
Oh,
January
good.
7th, to go through this.
Now,
There,
which
this
Patty are we talking about?
Patty G in
Patty
the
G. Okay.
yeah, in the chat room. There was an advanced civilization that knew all this stuff, and that's
Yeah.
where
There's evidence that the Egyptians knew.
yeah, they knew some stuff too.
Yeah.
What happened to us? It's like there was something that happened around 1700, and we just all got stupid. Uh, Most of the adults just seemed to be gone, and people have run into this wall trying to trace their family ancestry back. And I was reading an article about that today, and how some of the genealogists kind of scoot around some of that stuff without having to be so a conspiracy theoristic by telling them
Yeah.
about these
Well,
problems.
1700s had several wars in it. The Boer War, the Revolutionary War, the war in France that brought down the aristocracy, and those things all contributed to loss of knowledge.
There's all these like orphan trains. All these children were shipped over here from Europe. That
Yeah,
there's no paperwork on them. They have no, so they just gave them names uh,
yeah,
and placed them in.
they didn't remember them, and that's World War II and also World War One. Not necessarily for the same reasons. You know, during war, people die. As simple as that. So the 1700s was very active in warfare, and uh, Oh, let's face it, everything during the medieval stuff, there was one war skirmish or another. There wasn't a lot of written language, and the even the first printing press, could only go so fast for so many tomes. And the Gutenberg Bible's an example of that. But that was during the 1400s.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, every slice of knowledge had to pass through the church's hands first before it
Ding,
could
ding, ding,
go
ding. There's
do
your answer,
anything.
right? Yeah.
I'm stating the facts. That's
A
all I'm
controlled
doing.
narrative? No, no.
Why not?
Be an
Why would we have
agenda?
that?
Good heavens, no. How silly of me to even think of such a thing, right?
Well, we Santa and his sleigh. Oh, Santa Claus. We love Santa Claus, don't we?
Yeah.
Sinterklaas is a Dutch saint and is credited with bringing children gifts. But the real Santa Claus has been found in Turkey. His burial site is Turkey. I believe they have another thought about it here recently, but until I know that particular knowledge, I can't go forward with it. But in Turkey, they had a
This is so
long-standing Christmas story about three young ladies who could not get married because they did not have a dowry. Now,
oh.
for those who don't know their history, a dowry is a uh, much like the old hope chest, where you would put things of value to go to your marriage. That could be silver plate, it could be
Pillowcases.
blankets and linen,
Yeah.
uh, herbs,
Mm-hmm.
anything that a young woman might need to begin her dowry, begin her new home. They didn't have the means to do it. So they were unmarriageable because basically a woman is sold into her marriage at that time.
Yeah. Isn't that
And
crazy?
yeah, she was property.
Yeah.
If you got freedom, ladies, protect it. Please
Yeah.
protect it.
Yeah.
It anyway. These girls were scheduled for the auction block in a few days, and they all prayed very fervently that God would deliver them because they could have been bought by anybody, a brothel, a uh, a man who didn't deserve them. I mean, there was a lot of things could happen to a woman at that time, and they were praying to God, please don't let this happen to us. And Santa Claus, Saint Claus, was passing by their window and heard that they were in need. He snuck into their house and he dropped a gold coin in each stocking for these girls' dowry.
Oh, wow. I've
And
never heard
that's where
this.
the legends come from. And
Okay.
of course, since the night before Christmas was evolved in the 1800s,
Mm-hmm.
then we're looking at a little lighter story, but that is the original. And he was known for his charity and his good works. So, and the resting place of Saint Nicholas, as he is known,
Mm-hmm.
is in Turkey, unless somebody has changed it.
Interesting.
Right?
I've never heard of that from Turkey. I've heard
Yeah.
of like Russia, that there is the image of Santa Claus comes from the
Yes.
shamans of the
Yeah.
people. I can't remember the name of the tribe, but they're the
Oh,
ones that
I don't
bring.
remember me either.
Begins with like a Y or a U, something
They're,
like
they're
that.
the indigenous tribes of Russia. There were
Yeah,
many of them.
and they dress like the shaman dresses like that, and it's also because it's red and white, it's because the mascara mushroom that grows, and
Mhm.
supposedly the flying reindeer was because Santa
They were
like
flying all right.
tripping their balls off, so they're flying.
Yeah, they were flying.
But the shaman, they really would the shaman would watch and see which reindeer ate the mushrooms. This is gross, but they would capture their
They would
urine
harvest
and then
harvest
consume
it.
their urine to
Yeah,
get.
yeah. That was
But
enough
that's
polluted. It
desperate for
didn't
a
kill
buzz,
them,
man.
thank God. Huh?
Get a
But there's,
bottle of vodka.
these
Oh
are
my
very
god.
old stories, very old stories, and most of them are, from what I gather, are true.
Yeah.
There's legends, of course, but the most of the legends have been proven one way or another. It's either just legend or it's so. All the archaeological digs that they make often proves these legends or what have you. Um, Very specifically, if they run into a study that will yield that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, Children's toys and things like that really didn't happen until the Victorian era. That it wasn't a gift giving thing; it was a worship thing.
Wasn't there a guy like a shoe
Beg pardon?
person that was in like Holland or something that they Hans or something like that? That he made toys for the kids. Uh,
Oh, Santa Claus may probably. That would have been Holland, in Amsterdam, and
it's not
Belgium.
like why is it okay? The name Hans comes to mind. What is it, Hans Christian
Because
Andersen.
that's
That's the
what you're
author.
thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
it was about the he was the cobbler, town
yeah.
cobbler,
Then
something.
it has some more of the dark side in it too. The Krampus
Oh
uh,
yes, we got to talk about
legends.
Krampus.
Yeah, and he's the one that grabs kids and runs off with them at
Mhm.
Christmas if they're naughty during the year.
Yes, yes,
And his story is just beyond what I would discuss here.
yeah, yeah.
But
And that was probably a cover for something else that's just really something horrible in our
oh,
society.
I don't know. However, you got to keep kids behaving themselves, I suppose. The old days were brutal.
Yeah, yeah.
They were.
The this mythology, even of Santa Claus. This article that I was reading was talking about how this here we're programming these little kids to constitute to the whole archetype of Santa being somebody he knows when you've been naughty, he knows when you've been nice. You're constantly watching, like it's preparing them for a surveillance state and all that. And
Well,
I
that's been
never
going on way beyond the surveillance state.
and um,
It's
it's
about control, though.
yeah,
You're
it's about
you're right
control,
about that.
and that you have to stay within societal norms if you want to get material goods. Otherwise, you're going to get coal or nothing, and you
Yeah,
have to.
you might hope for coal in some situations.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, but how's conditioning? This conditioning.
Oh yeah.
Um, um,
Well, if you're a leader of a village or a country or a nation, you want as much control as you can get.
well, yeah,
And they use these holidays for that control. They're
right.
still using it,
Mm-hmm.
and we could go off on the deep end if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a great idea for
No.
Christmas Eve.
No. 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 I don't at all. No. But it's true that they what
I wish I knew about Krampus when my son was little. No,
I
he's traumatizing. He really is.
Yeah, he's
I don't
scary.
think you'd volunteer him for that. No,
Like
let's don't
he's
go there.
almost well, he's almost like a Satan figure, you
It's
know.
very much a Satan figure. Um, he's all part of that. That's a German entity, by the way. And I don't think even the Germans and those people in that area really used him all that much. He's not really talked too much about in our era.
Hmm.
And but he was set up to look demonic, and he was used for his purpose. He was, you either behave yourself or you're going to get taken away. It's like, yeah, nobody's got any idea of psychology here, you know.
Yeah.
No wonder they had some of the things going on in that time. So
I
Jack,
wonder. I wonder if some of these entities weren't extraterrestrials.
the ghost of the giant buried in the hill every day of the year, had to be home by the time it got dark. Oh, let's see. Let me guess where you are, Dot. I would say in the Great
Ohio.
Lake, one of the Great Lakes states for sure,
Yeah.
because with the burial mounds.
Or Illinois,
Yeah,
Ohio, Southern
yeah,
Indiana.
yeah.
There's a few in Missouri too. Um,
So yeah, and use your local legends the same way. You get home by the time those lights come on, or you're likely to be whisked away by the Mothman or somebody.
right, right.
So the things we do to kids, really, my God.
No wonder we have a whole generation of messed up adults. All these things that we were raised on, afraid of, and we just keep passing on the trauma. Generation after generation. You do what your parents did to you. It's just kind of
Oh, there you go. Dr. Seuss's Grinch
yeah,
was the Disney version of Krampus because
yeah.
they couldn't make him less scary. And I was always just the first time I saw Grinch, I said, well, let's don't talk about that. But I was scared silly, and I was in my teens.
Uh-huh.
I said, what the heck is that thing? Mom goes, it's a Grinch.
Oh,
And
that.
I'm like, Mom, I'm an adult. She goes, yeah. I said, I want to look at that. No.
Mhm. So you're yeah, the I can't say that word, as I don't
As Lanton, as
the
as Talon,
Aslan.
as to
It's like the Aztec version of Atlantis, as
okay.
um and there's some ties to that, by the way, with that. But
Ah.
it was a
Oh yeah, you
they
guys
made
have
it all the way up through Mexico, all the way up through the west,
yeah.
and came to the Midwest, and they even got pretty far north. Now I'm really confused. I don't. Are you in Illinois? I'm just
I
about
was
15
thinking she
minutes
was
from
in Michigan.
Cahokia is 15 minutes from me.
Estelen.
Astalan, yes, that's how you say it. Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Astalan. Yeah, very good. All right.
Yeah, I would say Storm's right too about the Grinch being at the time in particular they wouldn't have brought Krampus out in Disney. Disney would not have had that. No how. It's too frightening.
Hmm.
But a Grinch who ends up reforming and revitalizing himself, well now that they could fit into the agenda. you know?
Yeah, yeah. This agenda needs to be exposed fully and disbanded.
Yeah.
It really does.
There I don't think that'll happen in our lifetime. I really don't. The there's too much happening that is it's so webbed up tight that how you gonna discombobulate it? You just really can't.
One person at a time, just exposing this stuff because they part the way that the few are able to rule the many is
Mhm.
by manipulating our perception of things. And
That's
so,
true.
and they also use our collective energy to force an outcome that benefits them. If if we all are all in sync and thinking, they do that a lot with movies and so forth, right? um, that we affect the actual what happens in reality by our joint consciousness.
Yeah.
And when they're constantly promoting all this fear and all this strife, war, ET invasions, all this kind of crapola.
And
um,
keeping kids upset about whether or not they're going to have a present on Christmas, that just the last straw, you know. That's silly.
yeah.
I know one year my kid was, I'll tell you what, I really was considering if he was the Antichrist. Okay. Yeah, no. He was constantly into something, and his cousin was right there with him. And the two of my sister and I, the two of us are looking at each other and saying, uh, "Do we give Christmas to these two monsters?" Yeah, no. I said, "Yeah, we do." And she says, "I don't have much inclination for it." And I said, "I know." I said, "They're still little boys." I said, "They have to have something that says they are worth it." And every single human being on the face of the planet is worth it.
Hmm. Yes.
All they have to do is get a hold of themselves and march right for themselves, for their own conscience. I'm not talking about anybody else's. You know,
There's more than one.
I know. My nephew. Yes,
Your
I
family
know.
probably has one.
Yeah, of course, and they've grown up. My nephew is a strong family man, and my son is a family man in his own right. He takes care of his mama. So, you know, each person has a thing they're supposed to do here. A thing that they signed up for, and a thing they should do their best to try to live to. And if they do, believe it or not, and it sounds terrifically a, a like a terrible chore, but when you find the thing that makes you happy, makes you joyous in doing that thing, even if you got to work another job as well, you are very abundantly happy. You
Yeah,
know, your abundance is
price on that.
created from that.
Right.
So not having something to do is not a good thing for any of us.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is you want to do when you grow up, give me a call. I don't know either, and I need some advice. I've tried a lot of things on. I have. I've done a lot
Yeah,
of different kinds of things,
you have
and
so
I've
many
enjoyed
varied
every one of them.
experiences. I mean, you're just so interesting to talk to because you've done so many different occupations and met so many different
I'm interested
people.
in living. I want to do these things. Does
Right,
that
and that's
sound
why you're so
crazy?
interesting to talk to because you just know so much about so many different things and stuff. It's really fun. Cool.
I've held about 10 careers in my life. I have reinvented myself about 10 times. Some of that was to get over death of someone I deeply cared for. Other times it's been because it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And when I hear that in my ear, it's time to move on. Let's go. it's time to move on. Because when I stay past my due date or my expiration date, however you want to put it, I'm usually not real happy after that. And if I have one thing that I absolutely insist on in my life, and that is I will be happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what did you wrote? Ah, the
Hi, Kramos. Welcome to the
the
show.
arcs in the Warhammer universe have the ability to make reality bend to their beliefs. You know what? So do we.
Mm-hmm.
The individual has every opportunity and ability to take what they have and mold it into something else. So we have that 0 point energy.
Mm-hmm.
We can manifest anything. You having a rough Christmas? Did your mom die at that time? Did your sister or brother maybe leave? Any of those things that would makes a deep hole in our chest, you know? You can still have a happy Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have a happy life. There's no reason in the world why you shouldn't be happy.
That's
And
right.
if not happy, content.
Content. Yeah.
Yes. Happy is sort of a verb thing, where
Yeah.
you're
And
getting
happiness is
happy.
hard to maintain. It's something that has to be cultivated. I mean,
Yes.
people. That was a tough lesson for me to learn. And somebody gave me it's this little red book with a statue of the laughing Buddha on the front of it. And it's called the happiness something.
Yeah. Happiness is a verb. Happiness is something you're doing.
Cultivate happiness. It's just a little book, and that was
Yeah.
so uh, informative and so transformative that I've never forgotten it. And said happiness isn't something that happens to you or that you. It's not the prize at the end of the road. It's something you have to cultivate and work on and instill and grow within. And it's a very
It's a verb.
yeah
Yeah. We have to be doing something to be happy.
right.
Many of us choose a special kind of work, whether it's being a doctor or maybe being having a specialized contractorship. Something that is yours and yours alone brings a great deal of contentment. But the goal isn't to get rich. We're constantly being barraged by that. The
I
goal
know.
is to be happy and truly content with the good God has blessed us with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The
you're right.
rebirth of the sun and the time of the lengthening days. Yep. One of the things in paganism, and it's very well known among us, is during our coven circle, especially during this time of year, we
Mm-hmm.
will cut an apple in half around, okay, not through but around, and open it up and say, "Behold, the symbol of the rebirth," and it is a star of Inanna.
Mm-hmm.
And these are reminders for us that it won't always be winter. It won't always be spring. It won't always be summer. It won't always be winter. And don't wish your life away. Do something in every season, every day if you can. So if you can pull yourself together enough to do one thing every day, just one. If you're living in a complete chaotic mess, one thing will will count towards getting your things under control and getting them where you want to be so you can be content.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that the idea for all of it? Our households, there are lots of old ideas about our household. Sweeping out your house on New Year's Eve or
Yeah.
Samhain Eve uh, takes all the trouble out of the house and lets the new year in, lets prosperity in.
Mm-hmm.
You think about that when you're sweeping out your house. you know, tonight, or, if you don't quite have everything quite ready. And the first person to come in the house, you know, better have a little money because he's the one bearing the prosperity.
Ah, okay.
How about that? So if you have a guest coming in, or even if you send somebody out and give them a coin, come on, come back in and hand me the coin so we can have prosperity again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. So,
Yeah.
uh, I read in one of the prosperity books to take a house plant close to the door and put a few coins underneath it. And every time you walk past that plant, you say, "My money is growing. My money is growing." As the plant
Yes.
is growing, and there's some coins underneath, and it's supposed to help, invite that abundance in.
Yeah.
And what about painting the door? Feng shui is really cool.
Feng Shui's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot right with it. And I don't know that much about it. Not certainly not enough to talk about it. I don't know enough about it to do that. But from what I gather from it is a very positive uh, adherence, if you will.
They say to
You
paint your
know,
front door red to invite wealth.
that's one.
But
That's what they say.
yeah, the
Um,
culture.
Painting a door turquoise in New Mexico means to keep the witch out. So far, that hasn't worked for you. So, you know, but that's one of the door signals. Let me think. Oh, witch bells.
Mm-hmm. Oh, funny that you say that. I just went and got some tonight because I'm making something.
Yeah, be sure to bless them and all that. But you take your witch bells and you give them a little bit of a loving on, if you will, and you tell the bells to keep out people that don't bring prosperity and good fortune,
Ah,
and to alert you if somebody is trying the door, which a bell should do.
yeah, yeah.
There's usually five
Bells.
bells on it,
Yeah.
and they all have a meaning too.
Oh, they do. I didn't know that.
Prosperity, fortune, uh, God, goddess, and the universe. That's how I was taught anyway.
I did not know anything. I saw a picture of one in Pinterest, and I thought I'm going to make one of those things. And it had this little like grapevine wreath that's about this big, and then the bells hang off of it. Okay, God, goddess, universe, and
Hmm.
um,
Fortune and prosperity.
fortune. Okay, and prosperity. Okay.
Yes. So
Cool. I'm so
you
glad that you
walk
said that.
in and, yeah,
All
put
right,
that
I got
on your
it down
door.
now.
It's
Okay.
just five bells. It could be five jingle bells if that makes you more comfortable. Put it on a little wire and just put it on your doorknob.
Love it. Yeah, I got Hobby Lobby 250, and there's six of them in here.
There you go.
Not very expensive at all, it's
No, they're perfect for that. Put them on a if you need to, and you can't get it through the whole thing at the top of your jingle bell.
mm-hmm.
Just put it on a needle and pull it through.
Ah,
Put it on a piece of string, and it doesn't matter if they clump together because they'll make more racket if they do.
mm-hmm. I guess Kremos has a question for you here. Yeah, go right ahead with your question.
I'm waiting.
I'll wait for it to come up here in chat, so I'll read it to you when it comes up. Okay, yeah, go right ahead. Um,
And we're doing it with all due respect. Ooh, I don't know whether to be excited or scared to death. How can nature explain the fact that we don't choose where we are born? It doesn't. It's random.
I think we do choose, though. We choose our parents, so to an extent, we
Well,
choose where we're born.
there's two schools of thought on that, right?
Okay. No, I didn't know.
Now, the mundane is it couldn't possibly have any meaning at all. You know, we're born in a random acts. But ahead of that, you know, personally, I believe that we have a soul contract with the universe. You say universe or God and goddess, or just goddess, however you perceive the universe. You know, in your heart of hearts, how do you perceive him? Then you look to yourself in meditation and ask for your spirit guide or your angel, your guardian angel, they are the same person, and ask them, can I know why I am doing what I'm doing? Uh, what possible good is it?
Mm-hmm.
Now you might get an immediate answer, you might get no answer because everybody's individual. But years ago, I had a very serious uh, situation I had to deal with. It was bad. And I was seriously considering the unspeakable act. And I said, God, okay. I'll even share it. I was told I was going to die in 6 months. Okay. That's been 15 years ago, folks. I think we're out of it. Anyway, but I asked God, I said, is there any possible reason why I should not do this? Why I should not just go ahead and get off? And the answer was pretty profound. And it was quiet, it was soft. I was earnest in my act, in my asking. And the answer I got was, you have so much to do, and so many will have lost everything if you don't stay with it. Well, at the time, I wasn't doing anything. Nothing seemed particularly uh, needful at the time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, did absolute bottom of the barrel. Okay. And I said, okay, Lord, we'll just go with it a month at a time. 15 years later, here I am. And some of that time was the worst of my life.
Mm.
Some of it was the best. Some of it was wonderful. And if I would have got off, I would never have been with Hazy Radio, given lecture like this. I would never have met some of my friends that I have in life. I wouldn't have met Raven for sure. There was a whole lifetime of things, guys, that I would have missed if I'd had gone along with that. A lifetime. And I said, okay, well, we're gonna die. All right. However we're doing it. In the meantime, I'm gonna make this worth something to me.
Yeah.
That's what became of me. I'm still at it. I'm a little slower now. I still have the same disease that I was fighting then. But I have fought the good fight, and I continue to. Now, how does this answer your question? We do not choose so much as we obey. We're sent here for a reason. We're sent here to do the thing that we are best at, to do the thing. We might only affect a half a dozen people in our life, or we might affect, oh, thousands or hundreds. If we affect one other person and help them, wasn't it worth it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
was worth it. I promise you it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I've read that.
whether we choose or whether we don't, we have no way of knowing really. But it is my thought that we come to Earth uh, because the universe says, okay, I'm going to make one of those. That'll be fun. I'm sure that's what he was thinking when I arrived. You know? But
I've
you
read that.
have something special to do while you're here.
Yeah, and that's why you're where you're at. That
Yeah.
you are sometimes in a place just so because your consciousness can affect miles and miles and miles of people that you
Hmm.
never even know or see, or you just broadcast a frequency going into a grocery store, and suddenly all these other people start to ping and level up. You don't
Yeah.
even have to talk to them.
And you
I'm
see it.
fascinated by that prospect. So it's like,
The
wow.
person who is awake enough to see it is always stunned by it happening.
Oh.
There must be blue obsidian. They are blue. I will show you.
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
sweet of you to
they
say.
will go black if I'm angry enough. Okay, nobody wants me in that mood, and they do go very very dark blue. They are not sky blue by any stretch. They are very very dark. So, and it's an interesting color, but yeah, we have Storm and I have been on the journey with this particular situation. I don't really want to parade it out there. Doesn't need to be, but I have found more strength that I didn't know I had, more resolve I didn't know I had,
Yeah. Yeah.
stubbornness, just pure stubborn.
Sometimes that's what it takes is that grit. Just
Now I will share with you, it is a lung disorder, and I was allowed to uh, pick up a medication that was very close to being quit. Okay, they didn't think it worked. The people that had been on it, I'm the last of that trial study, and it didn't help them especially. It did me because my illness is familial, and the medication itself allows the lung to open up as fully as an open carburetor would on a car. It's a lot of oxygen there.
mm-hmm.
That medicine would have gone by the wayside if I had not said, "Okay, let's make my home going something to remember. What you got?" You know, my doctor is expecting crying and carrying on. I'm like, "Well, let's see what we got." And he said, "Well, this won't work for you," except it did. It did work for me. The beauty of this thing is that it's one of the medications that was used during COVID to help save people that were drowning in their own lung fluid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it
Oh,
would not have been available if I hadn't been on the trail.
wow.
So, hey, I got to do the right thing for the right reasons at the right time. I'm so thrilled with that. I'm still thrilled with that and in awe that I should be allowed to make that kind of difference.
That's cool.
You know,
It's really cool.
brings tears to my eyes. It really does. The
Kramos, this is fascinating.
yeah. So manifestation isn't always the positive stuff. When I say, it isn't always, oh, I'm going to have $1 million in the bank by the time I retire. It's not about that. It's about getting to do the things that not just going to help you, but might just save your little part of the universe,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because that medication saved thousands. So it's just can't wrap my head around it even now. But if I had not done it, they would have scrapped the program completely.
Hmm.
How about that?
Wow. Wow. How cool that you get to know in advance of your being on the other side what you contributed. That's really cool.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
it was just being willing to be willing.
Yeah.
Isn't that it's funny, be willing to be willing. If you can't find it in your heart to just go do it, be willing to be willing. If your opportunity comes, be ready to grasp it.
Yeah.
Blue frequency range
Yeah.
610 to 670 terahertz. My goodness. I don't know that much about that stuff, but it sounds impressive.
Yeah. That's cool that you know that. You have those
That's
stats.
great.
Cool.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Premise.
No kidding. It is.
But yes, we have our traditions and our things that we do, and we're wrapping here because well, we're almost close, aren't we? But we have our traditions as human beings to remind us of the old stories, to remind us that we're not alone in this world. We have others who are with it too and are doing the same things we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, the big thing is love one another.
Yeah.
I very much believe in Jesus. I never gave up on that,
Mm-hmm.
and I do believe that by pulling ourselves together and going together, going forward together instead of every which way, we can turn this planet into a paradise. And we have control. We have free will.
Yeah, we do.
We have the
Yeah.
ability in each one of us to have that little spark that says, yes, I will go with what the universe is telling me, or no. We have free will. Yes or no. Had I chosen not to go with that trial, I would be gone today. There's no doubt about it. And so would thousands of others
Bunch of others. Right.
because of one decision not to try. You know, if you got nothing else from this, whatever comes along, try.
Be willing to be willing.
Be willing to be willing.
I think that's a good note to end it on.
We've,
Thank you, Lynn.
thank you. It was wonderful talking to you and to your chat.
I just love all your wisdom and your experiences and that you're so open to share it with us all. So we'll definitely have you back on again soon.
Uh,
I'll see you
I
Saturday.
I love doing stuff like this.
Hmm.
There's lots of hope out there. There is.
There
You
is.
got to grasp it with both hands and pull that thing out, though.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
true. That's true.
I know it's tough. I got that,
If
but
if we
we
could
can
just
do it.
get everybody to realize how we are so played against each other, because they divide and conquer is the oldest
Yeah,
play in the book, and it's still
sure
alive
is.
and well today. And if we could just get everybody on that page just to understand that fact alone, I think we could
Yeah,
pull it together. I think
yeah, and we can. We've done it before.
we have
We've done it many times before, and they've destroyed us with division every time.
yep.
So
Yeah.
take a plate of cookies to your neighbor.
Yeah.
Say Merry Christmas or
Yeah.
Happy Hanukkah. If you don't know what they celebrate here, it's Cookie Day.
It's
You
cookie day.
know, I do that with my neighbors. I have six on the other side. I have six on this side, and I know each one of them. I know my neighbors in America,
Yeah,
folks.
I do too.
That was my decision. I know them. Now they know each other, And you'd be surprised the things these guys come up with. The other day I got banging on the door. My neighbor had a bag of vegetables.
Oh wow.
A beautiful big bag of brilliant colored peppers and stuff. He said, I got too much. I said, and? He goes, you've always been very kind to me. Here. And he ran off. It's like, wow, God. You know, I was
But
surprised. You know what? I thought it over and I realized I am psychic. I'm very psychic. I looked at Storm. I said, our neighbor is having problems. He goes, what do you mean? I said, they're hungry over there. I know it. I feel it. I smell it. But he brought vegetables here. I said, he brought vegetables he didn't know how to use.
yeah.
No, really. Zucchini and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I took them a turkey and some stuffing and things for their Thanksgiving.
Good.
And I said, I had this extra in my freezer. Would you like to have it? And the tears started rolling.
Mm.
We weren't going to get a Thanksgiving. I said, not on my watch. You know, not my neighbor.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean call me for a bunch of handout. I don't have that kind of money, people. If you've got extra in your freezer and your neighbor's hurting,
Yeah.
put it in a bag and hand it to your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. No, you may not know them, but you will after you're done.
Mm-hmm.
In a
Yeah.
couple of exchanges like that, you'll be good friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got teenagers. Those teenagers treat me like gold. And what do we hear on the newspaper all the time? Oh, those terrible kids.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're not directed.
They're not.
you know.
Yeah. I quit
So,
listening to the news, but
yeah,
yeah, I feel a lot better
yeah.
about life too. It was a
I
good.
heard this lady made a phone call to invite her grandchild to dinner. It was the wrong number. She goes, "That's okay, honey. Come on down." You know, they
Uh-huh.
took her up on it.
Uh-huh.
They've been doing this for several years now.
Cool. That's really
It's
cool.
all the person that she called was all alone in life and ready to do the deed,
Do the
ready to
deed.
get off, ready to
Mm-hmm.
get off. And
Mm-hmm.
that moment changed everybody's life. How
Wow.
about that?
That's amazing.
So we can do it. We can. It's going to take each one of us contacting and making contact with our neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he has a shotgun, boom, boom.
Be sure you
Yeah,
identify
yeah.
yourself.
No, no. Say, I'm your neighbor. I
Like,
thought you want this. Here, take it. You know.
they come
Yeah,
into
robbery's easier these days.
I met my neighbor because one of my cats literally jumped on his grill and took one of his steaks and he brought it back. And he's just munching. I'm like, what do you have? And I got down and pulled it.
Meow.
Are you missing a steak? Yeah. I'm so
Well,
sorry. My cat ran off with yours.
now, if it was this
I'll
house, don't
replace
worry
it.
about it. Cut off the edge. Yeah,
But
come on down, sit down. Yeah.
and so yeah, ever since then we trade food back and forth and all that, and they're sweet. They're gonna do a turkey tomorrow or whatever, and
Well,
yeah,
make sure the cat don't get down over there.
yeah. I said just put your grill up a little higher so they can't jump up there. I'm surprised that he didn't burn his feet or something, you goofball.
Oh, he probably did, but he's fast enough about it.
He was happy with that steak. His steak
Yeah.
was bigger than his whole face, and he was so proud.
Oh,
What
gee
a-
whiz.
Funny. It's just funny. All right. Well, happy holidays, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Merry
Happy
Christmas.
Yule.
Happy Yule. And have a blessed.
Blessed Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus for the rest of us. And if you've got a holiday going, be blessed.
Yeah, be blessed. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. I think I'm doing a show on Friday. I think so. Friday's my birthday. I don't know if I'm going doing anything, or I might just do a
Oh,
show.
and happy birthday, of course.
And if
I
not,
was thinking 29, but I'm dyslexic.
that's okay. I usually celebrate it January 6th because I mean the day after Christmas everybody's so like hungover and burned out and bummed, just so uneventful, just kind of bleh. So I like Joan of Arc's my favorite historical person. So her birthday was January 6th. So I sometimes celebrate my birthday January 6th rather than December 26th. I don't know. It's something weird I do. But anyway, if I don't do a show Friday, then we will see you all on the Quantum Show on Saturday at Nathan's.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I will too. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Good night, all. It's been a pleasure.
I think I've got to end stream. Okay, there we go. End stream.